Good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's okay and all good out there. Bear with me on this because it's my first time ever doing a webinar or anything like this, so I hope it's good. I've kind of had to learn the whole software in the last couple days, so let's see. So what is everybody up to? We're all drying off our gills, counting down the days until we can get back in the water, and hoping that soon we can get back. So to start, I want to first thank everybody for joining us today. The support for this project has been amazing. I'm kind of in shock right now. We've got attendees from like all over the world tuning in today. It's crazy. It's beautiful to see how the ocean can bring us all together, no matter where we are. And even with all this craziness going on around us and everything. For me, is one of my favorite things about being a diver, that once we're in the water, it doesn't matter where you're from or what you do. Underwater, we don't see race, we don't see gender, whether we're blue collar, white collar, on the left or on the right, any of those things. We're just divers enjoying the ocean. And for me, that is incredibly beautiful. So I just wanted to say thank you for everyone that's attending today. To start off, I think it's fitting to start with this quote by J.K. Rowling. She says that there's always room for a story that can transport us to another place. I believe this morning is today is more true now than probably any other time in our lives. Today, I want to kind of tell you the story behind Ocean Stories and how we got here, as well as give you a little bit of a sneak peek on what's coming up in the next weeks. But to understand this story, we need to first step back a little bit and briefly start with the story of how my ugly mug got here in front of you today. So let's get there. So who am I? There's a riddle I'm constantly trying to solve on a daily basis, but I think we all are in some way or another, right? Some of you may have been on trips with me. Some of us have been diving together here in Baja. And there's a lot of you I've never met before, and I hope one day we can meet and dive together or get in the ocean together. But to begin, the short version starts that once upon a time, we'll say not so many years ago, on a not very far off Spanish island, I was introduced to the ocean by a wonderful dive instructor named Pepe, while I was stuck in the Canary Islands for a few weeks. That's a completely different story in itself, but let's just say that Pepe was able to take this big tattooed kind of freak that was deathly afraid of the underwater world and somehow turn him into an ocean addict. I'm pretty sure there may have been a little bit of bribery with ice cream and some other things along the way, but we got there in the end. As I grew up as a diver in the beautiful, freezing cold waters of the United Kingdom, I would find myself going headfirst down the rabbit hole with diving. I want to just pause for a quick second to kind of shout out to our UK divers signing in today. I wholeheartedly believe that my time in the UK and learning to dive there, I wouldn't be half the person that I am now if it wasn't for the incredible instructors and humans I had in our UK dive family. So let's click fast forward. A couple years of diving in the UK, learning and getting better and better and kind of just going crazy with it. I was in the water every weekend, going nonstop. Eventually, I would just quit my day job and throw everything away. I threw out my PhD research, my home, my friends in the UK, my cushy job, everything, just so I could begin working full-time in diving. Diving at this point had become my one true love. But it would take me a few more years cultivating this new love and meeting some incredible humans that would take this love and then give it purpose. Humans like Alex Griffin, Reggie Domingo, Richard Cullen, Francesca Reina, Bob Rubin, Angel Navarro, and so many others over the years. The passion that these incredible humans share for the ocean helped to ignite a fire inside me. And many of them still continue to be the accelerant that keeps this fire burning and pushing me forward today. Over the years, I've volunteered on numerous conservation and research projects and disaster relief and all sorts of things. Everything from turtles to sharks to wrecks in coral. But it wasn't until we began Dive Ninjas a couple years ago that it would all start to kind of fall into place. This last year has been insane. It's been a whirlwind of excitement, yet so humbling at the same time. I was awarded as a closed hook ambassador by Nakawe Project. I recently won some awards in photo contests. I became a coordinator with Sea Shepherd, and I began building a project that's really close to my heart called Saving Los Cabos, with some of the best humans I could have asked to have on our side. Then this past year, I was approached separately by Mares Mexicanos and Ocean Culture Life on essentially the same subject. They were looking for me to work as a storyteller for our oceans with their projects. And this is where our story begins today. When Matt from Ocean Culture Life first approached me, I was taken back a bit. I don't see myself as a pro photographer or a writer or a creator or an influencer or any of these kind of things. I just see myself as a guy that really likes diving. I love the ocean, I love being in it, and I love capturing photos of the incredible things that I see and sharing that with the world. Being able to show that to people that may have never experienced what it's like underwater. I love seeing them, their eyes light up. I love the questions they ask and these kind of things. Matt had this idea with OCL that was trying to capture these kind of hyper-localized stories and unsung heroes that are all doing great things around the world. It was really just beautiful. It took my view of marine conservation to a completely new perspective. There's so many humans that we never hear about that are working so hard day in and day out to protect and understand our oceans, all the incredible inhabitants of them, and the communities and people that are tied to their waters. This all got me thinking, how do you tell these stories? There's so many stories to be told just in our local area, here in Baja, that we could barely scratch the surface. But a few months later, I was working on a project with our team at Saving Los Cabos, trying to develop ideas of how we could introduce the Cabo Marine Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, to the many tourists that come through this area. Every year, millions of tourists visit Los Cabos, many without even realizing that they're entering such a unique and beautiful protected piece of our oceans. Matt's idea started to kind of play back in my head and all begin to make sense. My position at Dive Ninjas put me in a very unique spot. We've had the chance to meet and work with so many incredible humans over the last few years. And so many of them live here in Baja, or they come through Baja and Cabo different times in the year, every year, whether they're going to Socorro or coming to see the marlin or the mapulas or the whale sharks, etc. So wouldn't it be amazing if we could create a monthly series of events where they could tell their story? And then we could invite these tourists to come listen to these talks, in hopes that if even just one of them takes home a new idea or is inspired to make a small change in their life, then maybe we can make a difference not only here in Cabo, but in the world. And so from here, the Ocean Stories concept was born. I was so excited to jump right into building it, but work was mental. We can all relate to that, I'm guessing. With all the other projects I was already involved in, plus trying to run Dive Ninjas and our design studio, it meant that I had zero time. There was no possible way I could bring this idea into reality. It would have to be put on hold. I'm still even amazed that Dive Ninjas has grown like it has in the last year with the lack of time we've had. If it wasn't for the hard work of our team, we probably wouldn't even exist right now. Everyone sees the beautiful pictures and remarkable stories that we tell, but many don't realize the endless 60 to 80-hour work weeks that go behind that Mariana, Donna, Ellen, Ligia, and myself all pour into making Dive Ninjas what it is. I will be forever grateful for their hard work, and I'm still surprised that they even show up to work every day with a smile on their face. So enter these last weeks. My days have gone from excited to kick off the day and get in the water to soberly reading endless news reports, travel advisories, and health updates, while battling at the same time with how do we protect our guests around the world, trying to figure out how we will keep the business afloat, and trying to find ways that I can keep our team employed as tourism completely hits a screeching halt. I began to get lost in my own head, forgetting that everyone is going through this. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about my team. It's about all of us. Every single human on this rock that we call home. And like most of us, I struggle when I have no control over the external factors affecting my life and my livelihood. I needed a way to take that back, but I couldn't find one. So the other morning, about 3 days ago, I woke up remembering a conversation I was having the other day with a close friend of mine, Mario. We were talking about how some localized conservation projects could be made more sustainable and create a bigger impact by utilizing the tools and resources they already have at their disposal. As I walked outside to watch the sunrise over the bay in hopes of clearing my head, I thought, man, this is just gorgeous. It's one of my favorite parts of living in Baja. I really wish I could share this with the world. And right now, Cabo is empty. It's like a ghost town here. So as I reached for my camera thinking I would take a photo and I could post it online, I realized something. I was not using all the tools that I had available. We all have this great network of incredible humans. We have cameras, we have the internet, we have computers. But most importantly, we all have these beautiful stories to tell. Together, we could bring the ocean to everyone, no matter where they are in the world. And now, 3 days later, here I am talking to you. The response and the support we've received has been remarkable and reminds me why I'm proud to not only be a human, but to be a diver and an ocean lover. We've got so many incredible presentations, talks, and workshops coming up these next weeks. We've only just begun to put them online yesterday, the last 2 days. I'll personally be back in a couple weeks to tell one of my stories. But before I go, I want to give you a little sneak peek of what's to come. Give me a second to move forward. So our first week here kicks off with something really special. We wanted to celebrate the incredible work that women are doing with sharks around the world. So this week, we have the update Shark Women's Week. We start off with Dr. Frida Lara, who is a shark scientist working here in Baja, but all the way down the Eastern Pacific to the Galapagos. She's part of Colegios Cacuna and Migramar. She's going to be teaching us a bit about bull sharks, but also about the current research that they've been doing with bull sharks here in Cabo Pomo. Then we move to Jillian Morris-Frey, who's the founder of Sharks for Kids, an incredible program to get little kids involved in the ocean and get them involved with sharks and all these things. She's going to do a special session for kids to introduce them to sharks and introduce them to all sharks and rays and all this kind of stuff. Then on Wednesday, we have Liz Parkinson, who is a stunt woman, shark conservationist, one of the shark angels, joining us to give an awesome talk on working with sharks and what it's like to work with sharks in film and conservation and these kind of things. Then Friday, we have Grace Carr coming to join us all the way from Ireland. And she's doing some great work up there with shark egg casings and these kind of different things in the coastal waters of Ireland. She's going to teach us about the sharks and rays and skates that they have in Ireland and what goes on there. Then on Saturday, we have a close personal friend and someone that's been an inspiration to a lot of the work I do. We have Reggie Domingos, the founder and director of Nakawe Project. Reggie is doing a talk on something that's really important to us at Dive Ninjas. She's looking at how marine ecotourism and environmental awareness can go hand in hand to utilize nature as a sustainable resource through ecotourism. It's something for us is really near and dear to our hearts at Dive Ninjas. Then the following week, we switch it up a little bit. On Monday, we have Pete Aragis Arana, who's also from Peleos Kakuna. He's currently doing PhD research on hammerheads and the migrations of them moving throughout the Eastern Tropical Pacific. So from Galapagos all the way up to Baja. It's an incredible project using DNA and all these cool things. He's going to be giving us an introduction to hammerheads, teaching us about them, kind of like a Hammerheads 101 session. Then on Wednesday, we have Lucrecia Faber, who is the founder of Amankai Freediving out of Playa del Carmen. She's going to give us a break from all this craziness. She's going to give us a little, help us relax, center ourselves, and teach us some breathing techniques from freediving and how we can get ready and calm down in stressful situations and get ready to go under. Then on Friday, we've got a close friend of ours from Hong Kong, Simon Lawrence, who's the founder of Insider Divers. He's a Zora pro photographer and a bunch of other laundry list of awards and accolades. Incredible photographer. He's teaching a special shark photography workshop with us as part of the Insider Divers Academy program. And then on Saturday, I have another one of our really close friends, one of my best friends, Sarah Richard, the founder of Girls at Scuba, who is going to give us a totally different talk. She's going to look at, is diving still a man's world? And she's looking at how the industry has evolved in these last years and how it's changing and these kind of things and where women stand in the industry. But this isn't it. That's only the first 2 weeks we have scheduled. From there, we've got a lot of talks. Right now, I've got 15 plus presenters that I still need to schedule and figure out. The impact of people contacting us and everything has been incredible. It's just amazing. To think that we just put this whole project together only 3 days ago is mind-blowing to me. We're going to be releasing a lot more details later this week, but to give you a little taste, we've got Alex Kidd, award-winning pro photographer and conservationist out of Ningaloo Reef, Australia, who's going to give a really cool workshop on freediving photography for wild animals and how you can get those really awesome shots with freediving with different animals. Then we have Maxwell Hahn out of Vancouver, Canada. He's a BBC and Nat Geo videographer. He's gonna do a different talk, a really cool talk on diving off the grid, but not in the sense we may think of. He looks at how we can go diving pretty much in any water and the things that he finds, whether it be diving into a stream or a mud puddle and these incredible creatures and animals that he finds in all these places in the middle of nowhere. But really interesting. Then later, we also have Marta Palacios joining us in the next couple of weeks, who is the scientist we work with on our mobula ray expeditions. She's an amazing person doing great work here in Baja with the mobula rays. She's going to be giving a talk on saving the devil rays of Baja and the work we're doing to try and protect them and trying to get them on. Those incredible shots that you see of them, thousands and thousands of rays, she's one of the main scientists working with these animals. Then we have Matt from Ocean Culture Life. If you remember from earlier in the talk, is one of the inspirations for this program, his idea behind Ocean Culture Life and everything like that. He's going to give a talk about how we can build ocean culture communities and how we can build like those tied to the ocean and how we can uplift them and help protect the ocean with them and work together and everything like that to make everything better for all of us. Then Dive Ninja's own Ellen Myers, one of our expedition guides, she's going to do a talk for the kids, another kids session on coral reefs, on introducing them to coral reefs and why they're important and why they're great and this kind of thing. So lots of good stuff. We've also got talks on coral restoration, mantas, inspiring communities, so many other things coming, just waiting to kind of connect and lock in dates and all these kind of things. So we'll keep you updated as we get more and more of it. Like I said, we'll be releasing more details this week on the website and throughout the next days. Make sure you follow @DiveNinjas on Instagram and Facebook because we'll be pushing updates there constantly whenever we can, as well as check out the link to Ocean Stories. If you don't already have it, I'll throw it in the chat in a moment once we finish up here. So I look forward to sharing all these kind of awesome stories that we have coming up in the next weeks. And I mean, you can help us support the project by sharing it online, sharing it with your friends and family, and getting everyone involved. I'm a little nervous right now because I'm looking at the attendees list and we're at 96 people and our account only holds 100. So we may need to figure out a way to upgrade. We never expected that we would get this kind of feedback and this many people interested. So we'll see. I recommend registering quick, like soon, for the talks you want to see because they might fill out. But I think maybe we'll be able to live stream some of them to Facebook or something like that. Or if you can't physically make the talk at the time that it is, all the talks are being recorded. So you can still go to the Ocean Stories website after this talk. And when you click on the Register Now button, it'll take you to a place where you can actually watch the talk at any time that you want. So if you can't make it to a talk that you really want to see at that time, you can actually watch it later on online and everything like that. So before I go today, I want to leave you with a quote from a human that I consider to be one of the ocean's original and greatest storytellers. Jacques Cousteau once said, "For most of history, man has had to fight nature to survive. In this century, he's beginning to realize that in order to survive, he must protect it." I thank you, ninjas. Stay safe out there, and I hope to see you all soon. So let's open up the floor for some questions. Thanks again for coming. If you look in Zoom, there's a Q&A kind of box. You can type a question in there and we can answer it that way. If you just kind of scroll to the top of your bottom of your Zoom window, you'll see a Q&A. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to put them in. We've also got a poll under the polling button, which is asking what days of the week people are more interested to see talks or that are better for them to see talks, and what subjects you'd like to hear. So if you could take that poll before you close out today too, that would be awesome. So how's everybody doing? Anyone have any questions or anything like that? Let's see. Sowers asks, how can we help with Ocean Stories? At the moment, Dive Ninjas is supporting the whole project. Dive Ninjas paid for us to have this system, the Zoom system and all that stuff, because it's like a monthly fee we have to pay. If we keep going up to 100 or over 100, we may start to ask for donations, a couple dollars here and there to try and pay for the better program, the one that allows us to have up to 500 people in the presentations. But we'll put that on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Then, let's see. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through your questions. Laura asks, did I take any photography courses? Actually, I'm pretty much self-taught. I've only started shooting photography a couple years ago. I got my first camera about 3 years ago. My first real camera, let's say, was a Canon G7X. And I just learned through tutorials, asking friends of mine that shoot photos and people that I looked up to. And then just tons and tons of practice. I still don't see myself as a photo pro. I find it weird when magazines ask me for photos and these kind of things, because I see so many incredible other photographers out there that I'm aspiring to be like, you know what I mean, that I want to learn from and work from. So no, I haven't taken any, let's say, professional courses or any kind of actual courses on that. Camilla asks, will we post the recorded sessions? Yes, we'll have the recorded sessions. You'll be able to access them through the Ocean Stories website. When you go there, there's like the Register Now button, how you got here for this one. With that, you can actually, after this talk is over, it's already being recorded and uploaded to the cloud. So shortly after we end the session, people can go to the talks and click that Register Now button, sign into it like you would sign up for the normal one, and it will ask you if you want to watch it live. And it'll just show you the video in your browser and you can watch the session. Mariana asks, have you considered giving any talks in Spanish? There are a lot of people and kids in Latin America interested in these subjects, but they don't speak English. I know people like Regina could do so. Definitely, this is actually something we were looking at doing. We were thinking about it yesterday. We have a lot of friends that are fluent in Spanish. Sadly, my Spanish is not very good enough to talk with kids. Still learning, but trying. But yeah, it's something I'd like to open up and start doing for, especially for the kids and the younger people and everything like that. We've got a few others that are coming, these scheduled, like Dora Sandoval and a bunch of others that are fluent in Spanish. And we're thinking of them giving their talks, one in English and one in Spanish, so we have a bigger impact. And we can also get, you know, local kids here in Mexico and in Central America and Latin America to be inspired and involved in these. Sue asks, what can we do to support dive ninjas and others in the dive industry in general while we're all forced to stay home and dry? There's a lot of articles going on, going out right now. Actually, Girls That Scuba just posted an article, I think it was this morning or yesterday, on things you can do. You can help them by, you know, sharing their information, engaging with their content on social media and everything like that. All that helps us, the likes, the comments, these kind of things, sharing the information with your friends. One of the big ones that helps a lot of small businesses is, instead of like postpone or canceling your trip, postpone it. I mean, these companies are very tiny. They're working day to day, you know what I mean? And every time they have to refund and things like that, they don't really have the money for it. That's why you've seen a lot of in the industry are kind of offering to just postpone trips, push them back a year or 2 years, whatever it is, which is what we're doing at Dive Ninjas too. Like, these kind of things help them. It helps them to keep their employees working, their local staff working, and all that kind of stuff. Other ones is, you know, while you're stuck home, start looking at where you want to go. Plan your next trips. I know right now it's a bit undecided. We don't know when we're going to be able to travel again and all this kind of stuff, but we're all got that itch and everything. So, I mean, you can start planning your next trips, looking at other ones. I know Dive Ninjas is getting ready to launch a bunch of stuff for 2021 with this whole kind of thing. They pushed it back a little, but we made a decision the other day in the shop that we were going to start pushing forward and releasing all the stuff we have for 2021 on the schedule. Check in with your local ops, man. Give them a call, see what they're doing and everything like that, or send them an email, see if there's any way you can help out. Right now, we're trying to also look at to see how we can support some of our local staff here in Baja. Some of the staff that don't really have, you know, proper jobs, say captains that are just running trips, or the chefs that cook our food, and, you know, the housekeepers and these kind of things that don't really have the financial stability that a lot of others have. We're looking at trying to develop some projects to try to bring them something. I mean, whether it be through small trips or some kind of work or something like that when things end, or through donations, donating food, clothes, whatever we can to help them out. Mateus asked what URL of Ocean Stories website. Let me add that to the chat right now. You can reach it from this link to everyone. I just posted into the chat. That's our bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/ocean stories. Make sure the O and S are capitalized. You can also go to the Dive Ninja Expeditions website. And as soon as you get there, you'll see a blue bar that says learn more about Ocean Stories, and that has the full schedule and everything like that. Let's see what other ones. Corey asks, you talked about learning to dive in the Canary Islands and getting more experience in the UK, but what brought you to Baja? I actually came to Baja by accident. I came here to help out a friend. I was supposed to only be here for a few weeks to help out on a project, and then I was supposed to go back to my job. I was living on the other side in Playa del Carmen, working with the awesome Angel Navarro, teaching IDCs and tech and things like that. But I fell in love with it. I came here for a few weeks and I was just amazed by this area and the incredible wildlife that's here and all this kind of beauty of it. Baja's a very beautiful place. Anyone that's been here will tell you the same. It's strange. You've got mountains and desert and bright blue ocean and, you know, all these kind of crazy contrasting things. And that was it. I just fell in love and I never left. I've been here for almost 4 years now. So it's a crazy thing. I recommend coming to visit, but you may want to leave something at home that makes you have to go back afterwards. Sina asks, if I missed the live talk, can I still watch it later? Yeah, like I said, you can just go on to our website. While you're there, you can click on the register now button and view the talks anytime after they finish. So if you jumped in late and you missed part of this talk or any of the other ones, or you're not going to be able to make a certain one that you really want to see, they'll be online, so you can definitely catch them online there. Someone else asked, are there any out-of-water certifications we could work on, or at least work on theory before we can get back into the water? Yeah, right now, there's a few different ways to do it. We've got webinars and workshops, like these kind of things. We've also got some paid ones, like one-on-one courses and these kind of things. Patty has opened up a special kind of certification thing, where that certain courses, like the equipment specialist, the nitrox course, the project aware courses, all the dry courses, you can actually do online with an instructor. So it's kind of like this, like using Zoom or one of these kind of platforms where we can teach the course one-on-one without physically being next to each other. It's a special permission they've received from the RTSC just for this short period of time while everyone's stuck at home. Besides that, you've always got e-learning courses. You mean you can start, if you're not a diver and you want to learn how to dive, you can start doing your open water e-learning, or if you want to get to your advanced or rescue or dive master, whatever it might be, there's a lot of awesome e-learning programs where you could start doing the theory now, and then when the travel restrictions lift and everything's better, you could do like a course, like do the in-water portions of the course. If you have questions on that, feel free to give us a shout. You can contact us at info@diveninjaexpeditions.com. One of our instructors will gladly talk you through what's available, what you can do, can't do, and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what else. Luca asks, any warning signs that a dive center is not doing responsible tourism? There's a bunch. We've got an article on our website. If you go on the Dive Ninjas website, there's an article by Maru, who is a marine biologist that works with gray whales. Her current research focuses on how ecotourism affects humans instead of how it affects animals, which is a really cool, different way of looking at it. But if you check out that article, she's got a lot of kind of points that you can look for, things to look for in the operator, what they do, what they don't do, and how to kind of tell the difference between, say, greenwashing, where a company is, marketing that they're ecotourism, but really isn't, and between like true ecotourism operators that are actually doing good things for the environment and good things for the local community and all that. Brad asks, have we heard anything about the effect that the lack of tourist traffic in the Bay is having on the ecosystem? It's funny you asked this. We were just asked the other day. Regina from the Kauai Project and a few others are working on trying to push forward a new research project. We're trying to get everything rolling. They're looking at how the animals are changing, or what's changing in Baja now that there's no boats on the water, that there's no tourists. Is there any different effect or anything like that? So hopefully we'll have some updates on that. I definitely recommend following the Kauai Project because it's their project and they'll be pushing out info on that stuff. Really, really cool to see. I'm excited to be part of it and shoot some photos, but I'm also excited because it gives me a small permission to leave the house for a little bit and go shoot some pictures and everything like that. Cool. Let's see. Someone else asks, how do we make the water a perfect blue? It really depends on the camera and the situation, and all that kind of things. It's all that and a little bit in the post and everything, getting your white balance correct and all that kind of stuff, whether you're using strobes, not strobes, and all that. If you want to give us a shout, we're doing some like one-on-one photo workshops and these kind of things. I can gladly tell you. Also, Simon Lawrence at Insider Academy is doing some really cool photo workshops too, if you want to check out insiderdivers.com. So yeah, feel free to give us a shout on that. As a suggestion for a video camera, the big one right now that's killing it is the GH5. If you want to shoot only video, that's where I would recommend to check out. It's something I would love to get my hands on for video. Let's see. Someone else asked if there's a chance to do mini photography courses online or a mini workshop for beginners. Yeah, we can definitely work on that. It's something actually we've started to offer at Dive Ninjas and all that too. So it's something we can definitely put together. Just feel free to give us a shout, email the shop or anything like that. I'll be teaching, I've already started teaching some one-on-one courses with students of mine already, as well as some new students. We've been kind of putting together little one-on-one programs and developing like homework assignments that they can still do while they're stuck at home. And no, it doesn't include filling up the bathtub and having to dive in it with your gear and equipment on, although it sounds more fun. Cool. I think that's all the questions. Anyone else have any other questions or anything else you'd love to know? Please let me know. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. I've seen one that I just missed. Where in the UK did you dive and where did you get your diving certificate from? In the UK, I used to dive with Diving Leisure London, which was run by Alex Griffin and Paul Toomer and those guys back in the day. I did a ton of my courses with them. I did my open water in the Canary Islands in Lanzarote, but a lot of my stuff from then beyond was with those guys. It's an incredible shop. I'm sorry, sadly, it's not open anymore. They've closed down. Alex, though, is still running Hell Divers and the London IDC, which is, he's still heavily involved in London and things in London. If you ever get a chance to work with him and take a course from him, he is an incredible instructor, one of the best. And where I dove in the UK, I used to dive pretty much everywhere. We dove in Raysbury, Bobster, down on the south coast, up in the Farnes Islands, Scotland, Irish Sea, North Sea, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. my first year diving in the UK, I did something like 350 dives in 1 year. It was kind of a nonstop crazy addiction. Let's see, just trying to see if there's any other ones. Give me 1 sec, I'm clearing out the ones we've answered. And sorry, I'm a little slow. Sarah says, not a question, but thank you for always supporting female divers and conservation. Who are my favorite female photographers? Is I feel like female photographers are less promoted. There's some really incredible ones out there right now. There's a lot of great people, and I agree that you don't see so many of them being pushed to the front, like whereas you see like a lot of the guys that you know of are more household names, we'll say. There's a few that work in Bimini that are just mind-blowing at the Bimini Shark Lab and everything. They're incredible. All the girls there are just mind-blowing with the photography, with freediving photography and everything like that. We could put the list. I think it's a good idea that you say this. Maybe like it's an idea we can actually, let's throw an article together where we can list some of these up and coming female photographers that are just mind blowing. Nadia Ali is also one of my favorites. She's one of my favorite photographers in the world right now. I love the way she captures nature and the kind of things she does and all that. So really, really beautiful. And Andres asks if it's possible for us to develop an ecotourism platform with you guys in Colombia. There are some initiatives that we would find really useful, your help and knowledge. I would love to talk about it. Feel free to give us a shout. It's a bit hard for us because we're all the way out there. We were actually looking at building a citizen science project in Malpelo. That's something that's still on the table. We've been walking with some of the guys with Paleos and stuff like that, trying to put it together. But yeah, we're always down, and we're down to do look at how we can help in other areas. You should also check out Reggie and them from the Kawe. They've got some work already happening down in South America, I think in Chile, if I remember correctly. So they might already have some resources down there that can help. But yeah, feel free to give us a shout. We can talk about it. I'm actually thinking of maybe one of the presentations I'll give later in the season is going to be how to design ecotourism projects and kind of what I've learned from designing the projects at Dive Ninjas and all that. Let's see. What kind of stories, Lewis asks, what kind of stories do you think are important to tell these days? I think all stories are important to tell. Every story's got something great. I think right now, though, one of the things we need is we need positive stories. We need to remember that there is good things happening in the world and that this isn't all doom and gloom. You know what I mean? Right now, it's kind of everything's crazy around us and we're locked at home and all these kind of things. But there's still a lot of beautiful things happening. There's a lot of beautiful things that have been happening. And I think it's good to highlight that, to remind people that it's not all doom and gloom, that there is hope and there is great things still happening in this world. And Teresa says, if you want to know more about photography, you can also check out Ramina Bayer on Instagram. She did a course with her and she was super happy with it. So awesome. There's another amazing female photographer. Check her out if you can. And let's see. Brad Warren asks, are you going to do a talk about the crocodiles? I could. That's one I could definitely do a talk about. If people would like to hear about our diving with saltwater or with American crocodiles in saltwater Mexico, let me know, and we could definitely put that together. Any dangerous situation you've been in, which skill was the most important to get out of? I mean, all our diving skills, I think the better thing in diving is to avoid dangerous situations by being safe and, following the rules. They're there for a reason. We don't cut corners and all that. Myself, I kind of run off a tech diver mentality. It's always, plan for the worst and hope for not hope for the best. You know what I mean? So it's, if you kind of are, preemptively going through things and you're keeping into being safe and all that kind of stuff is great. It's also good to always kind of, sharpen your skills, practice them. When you haven't been in the water a while, go for a refresher course. Yeah, I mean, go sit in the pool for a couple minutes or jump in a pool with a friend, practice with your gear and all that kind of stuff, and make sure your skills are up to date. We tend to forget that scuba diving is a little bit of a dangerous holiday, activity. The same with freediving and these things. It requires practice like anything else in the world, and the more we stay with it and the more we stay safe about it instead of trying to bend rules and all that. There's some really good articles you can look up online. If you look up there's an article by Andy out of the Philippines. It's about the normalization of deviance is what the term is. It's a term we use in technical diving. It basically means, in layman's terms, is like you do something wrong, you get away with it, so you do something wrong again, and then you start to do things that are worse and worse and worse until something really bad happens, and then there's no way to get out of it or anything like that. I definitely recommend checking out that article. If you want to shoot me a message on Facebook or anything like that, I'll gladly send you the link to it and all that. Let's see, what else? Any other questions? What is my favorite diving spot? That's a hard one. It really depends on the animals. Big animals, Baja. Like anywhere in Baja is just throughout the year is my favorite. I mean, we've got striped marlin, we've got the giant mobula aggregations, we've got tons of different sharks, makos, blue sharks, bulls, hammers, et cetera, all at different places, different times in the year. We've got mantas. I also really love Socorro. Is one of my favorite places to go to in the world for big animal diving. I love the mantas there. They're just super friendly. They like to be right in your face and like try to understand what you are and everything like that. For small animals, Lembe is out of this world in Indonesia. I've never thought myself was a macro diver or a muck diver. It never looked interesting to me or anything like that. And then I spent a few days in Lembe and I was completely converted, and now I'm in love with the tiny stuff too. So definitely recommend checking that place out too. Cool. I think that's it. If there's no more questions, I'm gonna sign off and say goodbye. Feel free to make sure to join us tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. with Dr. Frida Lara. I'll be there to introduce her in the morning and everything like that, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Please also, before you leave today, please fill out the poll if you can. If you go into your bar, you'll see a little box that says polling. Click on that. It's just 2 questions asking what days of the week you prefer and what topics you'd like to hear about and everything like that, so we can try to organize some cool stuff and get more stuff going and everything as we keep moving forward with it. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, /DiveNinjas on Facebook, @DiveNinjas on Instagram. If you have any questions for me, you can reach me directly either at on JClue on Facebook or at JClue on Instagram. I'm gladly answer them and everything like that. And we hope to see you guys soon. And thanks for joining in. Have a wonderful day and stay safe, ninjas. Talk to you later. Bye.